So I'm going to get into it here. We got a spirituality reading. I'm going to try and tighten these videos up a bit. See what we get. So with my Gaia, the usual spiritual deck that I use here, I'm going to move forward. Okay. The first card we get in the Gaia deck here is the 10 of Air. Yeah, and I always get light fuzzies with this, right? I really am taking in all the channeled info rather than the actual meaning of the card, but sometimes I bring them both up to bear here because they may be significant. So the 10 of Air here, I feel like we are opening to our clairvoyant signals here that may be coming through, or realization of a higher power here in some kind of way. I feel like the Aries may be on this path where they realize there's something above them that's in charge here. So it's a good that's a good card to start with. Next card, 14, the Self. This is really good. This is really with this 10 of Air, to me it signifies a great spirituality or inner knowing and inner connection to all that is. The doves that they're showing above the head of the lady here is showing me that at this moment in time there is a sense of either a need for great peace or connecting to that peace of mind that we may not have had for the longest time. And again, the dragons are sitting there, and I'm getting a sense of truce, like Aries finally given in, but in a good way, to inner peace, because the more that they fight, the more fight they're going to get, is really what I get here. And now we're locking into something greater here. A spiritual awareness has come by these Aries, which is good, because you got to be, you know, you're the first in line here to figure out what's going on, which is not the usual. Aries had the most clicks on my videos. Not normal. They're usually in the back of the pack. So that right away, when I have something there that comes in that has a lot of energy like that, it means that they're seeking, they're looking. And peace, they are trying to strive for peace. Usually Aries are the ones that are really ripping the ground up for everybody else. So here they're longing for peace and may have come to a truce within one particular individual, is the sense that they're giving me. We're going to lay our swords down and try and create peace. If only for ourselves, this is what we're going to start with. So this is good. Third, King of Water. So this may be someone in your midst. The King of Water is someone who is emotionally stable. We have the two seahorses coming out from the heart of things, symbolizing, and it's interesting, they're going, note that they're going in two different directions. So we may have had a partner or a masculine or someone here in our field that we had great emotion for, but we are deciding to let it rest, let it lay. There may have been, they're showing me the moons as if to bring upon the card in the tarot and say there may be a lot of illusions around this King of Water, things that we didn't understand, but do we need to? At this point, do we really need to understand what is going on with this person? It seems like we're going off in different directions. We may have had a love tie here, but the sense is that it is no more, is really what I'm getting. Now, if the Aries is taking this stance of creating inner peace, I feel like this man, give me a minute here, or woman, depending. Yeah. There's so much they're showing me here. Just give me a minute. They're showing me the coral reef on his head. So in other words, they're giving me a sense there's a lot of things we can cut ourselves up on in this mind of this man. So this man is going through a lot of things in his mind that are choppy waters, they said. Now this may have been part of the problem that we had. But the sense here is we may have had like a huge a divorce or separation where we just we're just no longer getting along. And part of it is, now I gotta be careful how I say this. The Aries tapping into their self is the greatest thing ever to hit the earth, is what they're saying. They're going, this is unprecedented. We don't do this. Aries they don't checkpoint. So they are becoming calm at this point in order to separate themselves from chaos, which is good because they are chaos makers. I'm sorry, but they like to do this, and they've realized at this point, backed in a corner maybe, I don't know, that this is not getting us anywhere. We got to do things a different way. And they're doing this. The King of Water, this is another, they're going, we do not need to, what? We do not need to invest ourselves in what this person does. It's no longer it no longer creates peace for us, so why go there? So this is something that is meant to separate, really, this relationship here. And the Aries finally given in to doing so, is the sense I'm getting. And the King of Water is significant. So we're going to go to the next line here. And I got to watch where he sits. My editing. Into the above cards. So that was the Gaia deck. Now we're moving into the above cards. First card we get to clarify the Ten of Air, which to me feels like a connection to spirit, connection to something greater than the self. For the Aries, this is huge. On top of that, we get creative expression. So we may be utilizing this in some way. The Six of Water. Here, okay, yeah, okay. They're going, notice the swan, there's only one swan, and swan mate in pairs, and they mate for life. They're going, we are going off on our own journey at this point. So we're needing some kind of, some kind of driven action to help us move. It's interesting because I'm pretty sure that's a peacock on the other side, and I feel like that belongs to the King of Water. So we are coming into our gracefulness here, is the sense they're giving me. We're coming into our gracefulness, and we may have had someone here. I feel like the interest is still there because the bird is still looking on. The Aries is looking forward, but the bird is still looking on, like, what are you doing? So this may be the problem. We may be trying to move forward, and we have someone that is creating havoc for us, but we have decided not to play into things anymore. And the creative expression here, she's using I don't know if that's not a mandolin, but some kind of musical instrument here, where she is getting into creative flow, and this will help you distract, right? And look at all the angels hanging off of everything there. They're all focusing to get the Aries in a direction of creativity, and using that to create a happiness to move you forward, push you forward. Good energy, good energy. So as we move on here to clarify the self, we get 8, the Strength card. In this deck, it speaks to spell casting and working with the divine. In Aries, gotta be careful. I'm getting peace here. But this one here can go either way. And we'll clarify that with my geometry deck. But the sense is we're creating an inner strength by working with the divine. So if that's truly where we're going, and the sense is that I'm getting something bigger opening up, then we use that to move ourselves forward. So on this King of Water, this is someone who is significant in your life. I feel like the significance is breaking, but nonetheless, the card we get to clarify that is the High Priestess. We're speaking of wisdom, seeking whole truth. So interesting, because when I first went into the King of Water card, if I can bring that back, 14, the King of Water. When I first brought that in, they were saying, take note of those seahorses moving in separate directions. This man has a lot in his mind that is creating chaos, or chaos choppy. Yeah, it's choppy. Things up there in the thought process are choppy. So your life is going to reflect the same, right? There's a sense that the Aries needs to understand this to some degree. Now, this man is using his inner wisdom to get through here. There's a sense of wisdom that he is coming from as he moves forward. There's a curiosity about what the Aries is doing, but a sense of maybe both ends here needing more truth, and they never got. But at this point, we may have to give our truth to ourselves and just accept things as they are, because it's a lot of what's going on nowadays anyway. So we're seeking the truth. I feel like this man is seeking truth from the Aries. May not be getting it in the way of fact, but the instinct is speaking highly here. We have the sword of truth and the cup of emotion here. So this man may be highly emotional when it comes to us, and also maybe speaking his truth forward is the sense I get. Sorry, I got my window open. Movement. Yeah, so he's seeking the truth in order to gain clarity of his emotions is really what I feel from this masculine. But I feel like we were both an illusion of some things. Like this whole thing separated because we could not be truthful with one another, period. This is what I'm getting. The Aries could not be truthful to the King of Cups, and the King of Cups could not be truthful to the Aries. He was holding back things from the Aries as well. So it's just no trust, no, everything here is in Splitsville. So we're going to move on to the next row here. I'm getting nervous on this spellcasting card, because that could mean we want to manifest things, and the Aries can be very vengeful, but we're going to go forward. On the 10, which signifies connection to spirit, creativity. What do we get there? Complex pentagon, yeah. Up and down, yeah. Following and not. This is the scary part. Aries, Aries, Aries. So what's going on here? We have the complex pentagon, and there's like ups and downs. There's big circles, little circles, big one in the middle. There's lots going on here. Oh man. I had none of this before I started. Okay, good morning. Yeah, and they're going, and there's a focal point in the middle. And we got to be careful that we don't miss the point here. And the point being us disconnecting and moving in another direction clearly and cleanly. And the sense here, yeah, I'm getting karmic repercussions through this. Pentagon is solid. We feel like we're surrounded on all sides, like nothing can get out. And when we have that strength in that way, we got to be careful how we use it outward. Because if we go outward in vengeance, feeling like nothing can harm me, we might be learning a lesson there. Okay, next. Now we're moving into the self and the spellcasting energy. What do we get there? Okay, octahedron deals with integration, air, and eights. Now, eights is about infinite. And the sense they're giving me through this is we may have a lot of Akashic energy coming to bear right now. We have a lot of different timelines sitting on us right now, a lot of energy for a certain way that we go here. Now, the separation, I feel, is something that has happened all along with this soul that we've been in contact with. This is something that has always happened, so we may be feeling it to the highest degree where we kind of don't know why we have such a hard time letting go, why we have such a hard time dealing with this. Why can't we just move on? This is why, because there's an integration of your soul through time, space, that has come across this particular moment in time where we're dealing with this situation of separating from this. It is inevitable, they said, but because we do it over and over and over again, it builds like we almost, okay, so we have a soul that we come into contact with. At one point we thought we were in love with this person. We may have been in love as much as we felt it at that time. And now we are at the point where in our past we felt like this wasn't going to work. We felt like, but the sense was we were trying to push something together that was never meant to be together for a long period of time. And because of this, we are now needing to integrate into a new frequency. Now, again, the energy of working with the divine, be careful that it's in the right way. And I do feel like the Aries is really separating themselves to be solely, to think solely and spiritually. So we'll move on. Now, this King of Water obviously has a huge effect on us and our path here. Again, I feel like the Aries has decided to take a break here. And this King of Water, this man of an emotional maturity, he is taking his wisdom and instinct and using it to gain him forward. Now, the card we get is the DODECAHEDRON. Talks about ascension, ether, and 12s. Give me a minute. This is, I feel like this male might have been more spiritually advanced than us. And this is part of the reason we didn't last, because we're going from someone here who needs to integrate new energy into their life. The Aries needs to integrate new energy. We may have been in denial of this from this partner. This partner entered this relationship knowing that it wasn't quite right. They knew, but they went in anyway, figuring that what harm can it do, and it may have, because their instinct was flowing, but this is a lesson we learn. And again, because of things of the past, not past, but parallel, all these Akashic things, energetically, pattern behavior that comes in, not only of this life is what they're telling me. Because of this is why we kind of attracted, because we're coming into something that our soul recognizes, but don't recognize if it's good or bad. We just recognize it. And we go in there with a false sense of, either one or the other or both are masking. And then it blows when we realize what we're really dealing with here. This is what happened either on the Aries side or the King of Cups side or both, right? We go in under false pretenses. And then we realize the frequency difference, and now we're in the point here where we're finally understanding that it's not meant to be, so we're moving on. And this is good because we need to go to our partners, our divine partners. This may have been a soulmate to teach us a lesson, but it's not a divine partnership. Okay, that's what I'm getting. Okay. Now we're going to move on to my mini deck here. And they asked me to use this one specifically, so there's some heavy messages that are going to come out. Now, on top of the 10, the 6 of water, talking about our creativity that's going to bring us forward. Roller coaster ride of having to adapt to this. The Aries is not really, I wanted to say Cancer there, so that may be significant. The Aries is not really wanting to dip in full-heartedly in our creativity and just go. They get tugged and pulled, and it may be by this masculine themselves or something to do with this partnership. It's just hard to let go. Clarify. 18, the moon. Yeah. Again, we got a water and a sword. So the Aries here, they're both the masculine and the feminine here, because, okay, getting excited. The sense here is we need to discern from our illusions, okay? Again, masks were worn here in this relationship to a degree that it just, we weren't dealing with who we thought we were, or we were pretending to be something that we weren't, and we didn't realize that till we were too far in. And again, there's a big mess to clean up here. The moon is about illusions, and the fact that I feel like the Aries is starting to discern what went wrong here and what is for our highest good here. And this relationship is not it. Now, she's got the seashell in one hand and the sword in the other. She is searching for her truth, and she is also in her emotional state as well, taking both into account. Now, if we look at both of these together, the wisdom of the High Priestess and the moon, these are identical things. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd be saying we're either dealing with a twin soul here, or someone who is reflecting and mirroring quite highly our behavior back to us. But nonetheless, we're both trying to use our instinct to move forward. Okay? Ooh-wee. That's, yeah. So we mirrored this person quite highly. And maybe we were both in illusion of who we were, truly. Aries and that partner. And now we've both figured out who we are, and guess what? It doesn't quite match to stay together. So we both need to seek outward. This is what I'm getting. Self, the strength, spellcasting, the eights, the integration, the need for change here. On top of that, we get the Two of Swords, making decisions. And here we're blind. We don't feel we have enough. I feel like that's why the Aries is reaching out to the higher self here, which is good. If that is the case, this is good. Because then we get rid of going outward to others for vengeance, and we're just strictly bringing it back to ourselves. We got to deal. We got to. So it's taking responsibility for our spiritual selves and trying in order to make a huge decision. And again, the Two of Swords here, the moon is illuminated in a different phase. So I feel like they'll go, because, you know, a month approximately for phases of the moon. I mean, different phases, right? We got a full and then a crescent. Yeah, because they're showing me the little headlight in the back, and they're going, this is the start of the illumination process when we go inside to figure out more things. Instead of taking either what that King of Cups is saying to us, we're not taking that into account, which is good, because we need to think for our own selves and not let anybody else think for us. This is the blindness that we may have walked through with this person. We may have had a situation here where we had someone telling us what to do, who to be, and we blindly followed this. And now have figured out through connection to ourselves and our creativity, this is not what we want. We want to go forward in a different way. So it's all good. Now on this King of Cups and the High Priestess, all of this wisdom and, you know, there's a lot of high emotion here for both people. Both people have felt this spiritual connection. And again, you're going to get magnetized to what you need to move forward. There's an ascension process this man is going through. A lot of what is in his mind is what he is trying to filter out. What do we get to clarify there? Wow. Five of Swords. And if you look at this, let's look at the Two of Swords and the Five of Swords. Yeah, these two people are it's very interesting because they're not as far apart frequency-wise as I would say. But on the same side of the tracks, I don't think so. Give me a minute here. Someone is making decisions not knowing who they are or what they're doing, and someone else is making decisions knowing exactly who they are. Now, on the Five of Swords, it's interesting to me. They are making me see that, and I noticed that. The Two Swords, both people facing in different directions. Again, they're emphasizing that. We're going in new directions, but our hands are still tied. So we may have a problem unbinding from this partner in some kind of way. Now, give me a minute here. I feel like this masculine is really connected quite highly, even though we are moving in different directions. There's a sense of unity, no less. Yeah, with the, because I'm going, this is the masculine, right? Defense and alliance. Who do we defend, and who is our ally, and who is our enemy? This is what we're trying to figure out here. I feel like the King of Water feels quite highly connected to the Aries. I feel like the Aries is an illusion of who to trust and what. So this is, wow, this is interesting. It leaves it on a cliffhanger, really, because there's a lot of illusions here, and I feel on the Aries side, they're really, they have no discernment. They're unable to make the decisions, so they're kind of just pulling themselves away at the moment and connecting, which is really good. But again, we're still not getting the answers, other than we need to focus less on that person and more on ourselves. Now, for this person, I feel like they are connecting back to us. So that may be the problem. We may be trying to get away from this partner. But I feel like it's not going to be successful, even if we want this for some reason. That either this masculine is connecting themselves so strongly to us that they will not let go, or this is something that is going to hang on no matter if we want out or not. But I feel like this King of Water just does not want to go, is the problem. So we may have a twin soul coming in here, and we are an illusion whether or not this person is best for us. Now it's interesting because I feel like we've already left this person. We've, removed ourselves from this person. It's like they're showing me here with the Six of Water, with our creative expression, and this is very highly guided. I feel like the universe is trying to get them in that flow. We have the swan and the peacock. These are two different birds, two different species. Like, they're going, and the peacock is looking back on the swan. So we may have someone that is so attached to us that cannot let us go no matter what we do. We just have to move forward in our strength, and decisions will be easier to be made at that point. We just really need to disconnect from this energy and move forward. Whatever happens to that energy will come to bear, I guess, in the next reading. So the planetary card I have for overall here is the Sun in Gemini, talking about communications. Hone your negotiation and relationship skills. I feel like this is what this relationship did. It helped us better see what is needed to hold a relationship up, even though we may not have done this in this way. It is going to help us in our new way forward for the Aries. Sun is full on energy. Gemini can be about things going back and forth, not being able to make up the mind, which is what I feel quite highly in the Aries here. They're having a hard time. Now, are they in communication? I feel like, if anything, the King of Water will be the one that's in communication. I feel like the Aries is trying to stay stoic and deal with their own selves and kind of eliminate the King at this time, because they are trying to make sense of things that they're not getting sense of from the King. Yeah, so we have a plane flying over. Again, there's air here, a lot of things up in the air. I feel like this couple are moving in different directions energetically, but they physically have not left each other alone. Three is highly guided, having to do with connecting to another person. I feel like there's a lot between this couple that is hidden. There's a lot of wisdom innate within each individual, but not a sharing of it between the two. And this kind of needs to happen in order for everybody to move clearly and cleanly in their new direction. It's very interesting when you look at the Self card and you look at the King of Water card. I got to go back to these two. We have the birds going in different directions, the dragons facing head on, and then the King of Water, we got the dragons going in different directions and him facing head on, and they're both in a mode where we're just hovering, but we haven't put the hammer. Yeah, this is very equivalent to the masculine feminine reading. We haven't put the hammer down. We haven't said, okay, you know, we need to move on. The sense here is that we're both hanging in limbo, needing truths to be told to each other from the heart is the sense that I'm getting here. Each one may have at some point held back their emotions. Their, like, it was a tit for tat war we had going on here at one point. Like, people were driving themselves through vengeance, and because of that they held back truths because they didn't want to make the other person happy, or they didn't want to sustain the other person in an energy that might help them move forward spiritually, because they were so angry and so battered and so bruised. So they held everything back. That all needs to be spilt in order for each individual to clearly move forward, because I do not feel this happening. I'll tell you in this reading, now this could be over a month, it could be over a few months, it could be over a season. But until this happens, neither one will be able to create peace and a new way forward. They have to be open and honest and explain to the other person. Not only does it help you karmically move forward, when you give that other person the tools, like the Aries has to go to the King of Water and say, you know what, you didn't help me this way, you didn't, you know, you were this way, you helped me this way, but you didn't help me this way, da, da, da. You have to autopsy it with that partner and explain to that partner what they did wrong that didn't make the relationship successful, so that they can move on and be happy with someone else. Aries don't want to do that because of their pride and their sense of competition. I'm not going to give them what they want because they don't deserve this kind of stuff. So this is just not good energy. So this is what's happening on both ends. And the other one doesn't want to give any truce to them. They're just completely holding back because they don't want to help them either. So it's a fighting war. But at this point, the Aries given in, and they may have to give themselves the, because I do not feel this King of Water will move on until the Aries is expressed what they need to express, the truths that they are holding back to that partner. They need to hear it for spiritual reasons to advance them forward. And if the Aries decides not to, this man may never evolve because of this. You know, I could see that happening unless he knows full well. He is in his instinct, but he is highly connected to this person. It's like they need something to break them apart. And I feel it's the truth. The Aries needs to relay the truth to this King of Water, why things didn't work, so that person can go forward. That's really what I'm getting here. Or these two will be eternally tied and in tortured souls for eternity, really, is the sense I'm getting. So we don't want to be in that way. We really want to give the other person the keys. If they're not meant to be with us, we need to give them the keys to be with whoever they are meant to go to. And the sense here is neither one wants to give up the other because they don't want them being with someone else. So that's just dark energy, just pulling you down. So be careful. Be careful where you're working with the divine. Be careful. So the Sun in Gemini, talking about communications, honing your relationship and negotiation skills. I think that this was the learning point within this relationship. This was meant to evolve us to certain degrees. We came in at the same frequency, but we evolved through it, and we can no longer be, is the sense. And the sense here is that we may need some truths here to be told in order to completely release from this relationship, and neither one of us want to do this. So this may be a hard stretch. So, wow, Aries, that is your reading. Again, you went from like the bottom of the pile here, clickwise, to the top. So we'll see. There must be some spiritual stuff going on with the Aries, which is good. Again, don't tap into the wrong side of the tracks because it may not help you in the future. We want to be coming from pure of heart here as we go forward. Evolution process. So if we've done it in the past and we're going to do it again, it's not going to be the right move. We got to do something new and creative in order to move forward. And part of it is just exploding our emotions outward to that partner. I feel like if we do not share from our heart with this partner, we will be infinitely tied to them in a way that will drag us. We will not be able to have a healthy relationship as we move forward. Either one. So Aries, there's your reading for the next little while here. Take care, have fun, and be kind.